Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel, and today we are diving into one of the most jaw-dropping, gut-wrenching revelations that Fairmont Crest has ever seen. Because honey, the truth just walked through Lynette's front door and absolutely nothing will be ever the same again. So here is what went down. Monica, a woman who has spent years burying a tragedy so painful she never spoke of it again, was sitting at her desk late at night doing routine work, just trying to escape the madness of Fairmont Crest for a few quiet hours, and instead of peace, she stumbled onto something that cracked her entire world open. A misfiled medical document, a name, a sealed birth record, and a connection to Barbara that made her blood run cold. Within minutes, Monica was out the door, coat in hand, heading straight for Lynette, a woman she now believes is the daughter she was told died years ago. What followed was one of the most emotionally explosive conversations this story has ever given us. And by the end of it, nothing, absolutely nothing, was the same. Let's slow this all the way down because every single moment of this deserves to be felt properly. Monica was not looking for this. That is the part that keeps hitting me. She was not digging, she was not investigating, she was not on some mission to uncover old wounds. She was just working, trying to stay sane in a town that keeps falling apart around her. And yet the truth found her anyway, quite patient, waiting for the exact moment to strike. And when it finally did, it shattered everything she thought she knew about her life. That line alone tells you everything about how this moment was always coming. You cannot outrun something like this. It was always going to arrive. The file did not even belong to her case. It had been misfiled, a clerical error, a cosmic accident, whatever you wanted to call it. And Monica was about to set it aside. She almost did. And imagine if she had just moved on to the next document and gone home that night and none of this had ever surfaced. But she saw the name Lynette and something made her pause. Not alarm, not suspicion, just curiosity. Because who would think in that moment that a misplaced file was about to rewrite the last several decades of your life? Then she saw the note. Old, nearly overlooked, birth records incomplete, maternal identity sealed, and that is where Monica's professional instincts kicked in. Because sealed records are rare, and they almost always mean one thing. Someone worked very hard to make sure this information stayed hidden. Monica hesitated. She knew she probably should not keep reading, but she did, and I cannot even blame her. Could you have stopped? I do not think so. What she found inside that file started as confusion. Dates that felt too familiar. Details that should not have matched anything in her personal life, but did. And then the horror of realization began to creep in slowly. The way cold water rises, her heart began to race because years ago Monica had given birth. A child she was told did not survive. A loss so devastating that she had buried it deep within herself. Never speaking of it again. Think about that for a second. Think about carrying that grief for years, letting it reshape you, letting it harden you, building your entire identity around the loss that what if it was not letting it harden you, building your entire identity around the loss that what if it was not real, what if someone looked you in the eyes during the worst moment of your life and lied to you. I cannot even wrap my head around how that must have felt sitting at the desk. And then she found the name, Barbara, connected directly to the sealed records, connecting to that time period, connected to everything. The room must have felt like it was spinning, because in one instant grief became rage and shock became fuel, and Monica was already grabbing her coat before she had even fully processed what she was holding in her hands. Now let us talk about Lynette, because she had absolutely no idea what was coming. She had spent her whole evening navigating the chaos that is Fairmont Crest. Leslie's manipulations, Darlene's shocking connection to Barbara, the whispers, the games, the shifting loyalties. Lynette had always survived by staying one step ahead. But there was one truth she had never been able to uncover: her own origin. She had pushed, she had searched, every path had led to a dead end. Every door had been quietly, deliberately, firmly closed. So, when there was a knock at her door, sharp, urgent, she could not have guessed what was on the other side. And when she opened it and saw Monica standing there with that expression, shock, pain, and a fierce determination all at once, she stepped aside without even asking why. Something in Monica's tone made that instinctive. You do not argue with that kind of energy. You just let it in and brace yourself. When Monica asked her point blank whether she knew who her mother was, Lynette tried to deflect, called it not exactly casual conversation. Because that is Lynette. Guarded sharp, using humor as armor even when something in her gut is already shifting. But Monica pressed her and Lynette answered honestly. No, she did not know. She had tried to find out, and that honesty, that quiet admission of a lifetime of unanswered questions, is what made what came next land so hard. Because I think I'm your mother. I mean, can we just sit with that for a moment? Monica did not ease into it. She did not build up to it with a long dramatic setup. She just said it. Because what else do you do? How do you soften something like that? You cannot, and the silence that followed was suffocating. Lynette waited for the joke, waited for the misunderstanding, waited for something to make this not be what it sounded like. But Monica did not look uncertain. She looked devastated. Lynette's wall went up immediately. Of course they did. She called it insane. She demanded proof. She shook her head and said it made no sense. But here is the thing, and I think this is the most quietly powerful moment in the whole scene. Something about it did not feel entirely wrong to her. Even through the disbelief, even through the resistance, there was something that felt like recognition, like a door she had been pressing against her whole life had finally started to give. And when Monica told her that Barbara was involved, that Barbara had been there, had known, had hidden this, he could feel Lynette's entire framework shifting. Because Barbara being connected to her origins explained things. It explained the blocked access, the dead ends, the half-truths that never quite added up. Someone had made sure she never found out. And now she was standing in her own living room being told that the women who had been a mixture in Fairmont Crest's shadowy world had potentially stolen her from her own mother. The consequences of this revelation are enormous and they are going to ripple outward in every direction. First, Monica and Lynette are now bound together in a way that no one in this town could have predicted. They are not lies by choice, they are potentially mother and daughter by blood, united by a betrayal that neither of them chose. That bond, if confirmed, is going to be one of the most powerful forces in Paramount Crest going forward because these are two women who are both fierce, both determined, and both now deeply motivated to make Barbara answer for what she has done. And Barbara, the implications for her are catastrophic. If she knowingly deceived Monica into believing her child had died, if she orchestrated the sealing of those birth records, if she placed Lynette into a life separate from her biological mother, that is not just a secret. That is a deliberate act of cruelty that was maintained for years. The fallout from the truth coming to light is going to be devastating. And I personally cannot wait to see it unfold. But then there is Leslie, standing outside, watching, listening, processing everything with those calculating eyes and that slow, dangerous smile, another secret, and this one might be the most powerful of it all. That line is everything because Leslie does not see family. Leslie sees leverage. She is already planning how to use this information, already running the angles, already figuring out how a revelation about bloodlines and power can benefit her. And in Fairmont Crest, bloodlines aren't just about family. They are about power, and now that power is up for grabs. The entire balance of this town is about to shift. Honestly, this storyline just became my absolute favorite thread in everything that is happening in Fairmont Crest right now. The moment where Monica finds that file and the slow, creeping horror of realization hits her, that is masterful storytelling, and the confrontation between her and Lynette did not go for cheap drama. It went for raw, messy, complicated human emotion. Two women who do not fully trust each other, who have no framework for this moment, trying to navigate something completely unprecedented that felt real. And the fact that Leslie is already circling this like a predator tells me the story is about to escalate in ways none of us are ready for, and I am completely hooked. So, there you have it. Monica has potentially found the daughter she was told she lost. Barbara is at the center of a decades long deception, and Leslie is already sharpening her claws. Fairmont Crest has never felt this electric, and we are just getting started. I need to know, do you think the DNA test will confirm Monica and Lynette are really mother and daughter? And how far do you think Leslie is willing to go with this information? Drop your theories in the comments right now, because I'm reading every single one. If you are as obsessed with this story as I am, hit that like button, subscribe so you never miss an update, and I will see you in the next one.